You're listening to Peppermint Candy, and we're always interested when musical culture from the swing era is revived. So we absolutely loved the production of The Great Gatsby that's running at Wilton's Music Hall in the East End of London. We just played Flapper Walk by Frank Westphal and his Rainbow Orchestra, which could in fact be dedicated to Daisy Buchanan herself. To tell us more about the production and the history of Wilton's, we'd like to welcome Frances Mayhew, Artistic Director of Wilton's Music Hall. Frances, hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Well, the production of The Great Gatsby has been a huge sold-out success, and it's very timely as 20s fashions are all over the high street and catwalks, and there's going to be a Baz Luhrmann production of The Great Gatsby coming out later this year. What we especially loved about the Wilton's production was its immersive nature. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yes, well, Wilton's has lots of wonderful rooms in them, and they're in different states of repair or disrepair, and so they have this real feeling of a kind of speakeasy about them, and that fitted in really well with the play, because although the play is not about speakeasies, you know it's during Prohibition era, and so we thought we could match the two, so you've got the whole Prohibition feel and all that fun and the jazz and the illegal drinking that it seems so fun to us now, though it wasn't really fun for the poor Americans at the time. And then you go in and you watch this beautiful story about these wonderful people, and the music of the time was just so inspiring. You couldn't really have one without the other, and so they've kind of infused together a bit organically as we developed the play.
It's true, it works absolutely perfectly in that venue, doesn't it? It's really amazing. Now, the history of Wilton's Music Hall itself is absolutely incredible. Could you just talk us through it?
Yes, it's a really odd story. It started out as a row of Georgian houses in 1720 with a pub, a barber's shop, an importer of leeches, and people living in the flats above. And then in the 1850s, John Wilton came across this pub. It was quite well known. It's called the Mahogany Bar in those days, and it's very near the docks, near the Tower of London. And he really liked it. It had a little music hall in the back room, and he bought that, and then over the following years he bought the neighbouring 4 houses and built a huge music hall across their backyards and called it, inventively, Wilton's Music Hall. And he ran it not for many more years after that. It was very famous, it did very well, it's a gorgeous hall. And then he sold it, and various other landlords took it over, and it ran as this kind of sort of nightclub music hall place. And then in the 1880s, it was sold, but instead of being bought by another landlord, it was bought by the local Methodist mission, who'd been lobbying for ages to have it shut down. So they were very pleased to buy it, turned the hall into a church. They moved into the houses at the front, and they looked after the community and put people up who were homeless and fed people, and really was switched into the community obviously in a different kind of way, but became quite a force to be reckoned with. They helped the first dockers' strike in 1889, and they also supported the anti-fascists in the Battle of Cable Street in 1936. And then unfortunately after the Second World War they were kicked out. The whole area was scheduled for demolition, including Wilton's, and a lot of really wonderful people helped to save it from being knocked down, like Sir John Betjeman and the Methodists and other enthusiasts. And so it was saved, but it's been kind of derelict since the 1950s, just lying in wasteland. And that's kind of the story until today.
Such an incredible history. It's so amazing, isn't it? Such an amazing place. We're going to be talking more about Wilton's Music Hall shortly. But first, here's another song that would be perfect for F. Scott Fitzgerald's Jazz Age. Here's The Flapper Wife by the California Ramblers on Jazz FM.
You're listening to Peppermint Candy on Jazz FM with the Broken Hearts, and tonight we're joined by Frances Mayhew, Artistic Director of Wilton's Music Hall in East London. Frances, the programme of events and entertainment at Wilton's is always really amazing. It's very, very wide-ranging. As Artistic Director, how do you decide what to programme, and what have been some of your favourite events?
I used to worry about what I programme, because you're trying to develop an audience, you're trying to reach people and do different things to attract their attention many times, but also you're trying to give people a start in life, you're trying to develop talent, you're also trying to piggyback on the back of people who are already famous because you want to get attention drawn to yourself and that kind of thing. But recently I learned something rather wonderful from my boyfriend, actually, called Filippo, and he said, really, you must just do things with a lot of heart. If you believe in it and you love it, it'll be what it should be. And so now I think that's kind of where my thought goes through, or where my thought processes go through. But also Wilton's is a music hall. That's what it was built for. It was built for having a good time and trying anything. People in those days just did anything. They tried everything. And I hope that we still do that now, keep challenging ourselves, trying things, and people judge you or criticize or love you. And that's that's our world, that's the industry we're in, and we love it. So
You've told us all about the history of Wilton's. It's been quite the roller coaster. In recent years, you've actually been fighting an ongoing battle to stay open. Could you tell us about it?
as you know, it's been derelict for a long time. There's an awful lot of rot. The foundations are collapsing, the roof is collapsing, and as we discovered, the hall wasn't built particularly well in the first place. So we've got major structural issues to deal with. And over time, very gently, every time we had a few quid that we could put together, we'd fix a little bit and open up a little bit more and just do it as much as we could. And now it seems that we've managed to raise funds better for a wonderful team and a wonderful development director who is really pushing things forward. So this summer we'll do some major structural repairs to the auditorium itself. We will put the foundations in and save the failing roof, things like that. So it's an onward process, but you learn a lot, and it's very rewarding because every time you fix something, you see it. And it must be like when you do up your own house, you feel very proud of every little achievement that you make. I love it all.
Is that the capital project?
That is the capital project. It's a two-phase project. So we're doing one half this summer. It's about £1.1 million worth of work. And we're still fundraising for the other half, which is about another £2 million. And we've got an application into the Heritage Lottery. We hear back in June.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Exciting news.
We'll have more about Wilton's Music Hall and how you can help save it shortly. But first, we've got a song by Harry Champion, one of the best-known music hall performers and composers. Here's Harry Champion with The End of My Old Cigar.
That was Harry Champion, an old music hall star with The End of My Old Cigar. Because tonight with us in the studio is Francis Mayhew, Artistic Director of Wilton's Music Hall in London's East End. Francis, what do you have coming up in the future at Wilton's Music Hall?
Well, in the immediate future, we've got some lovely one-offs. We're doing our first big contemporary dance show with the Mark Bruce Dance Company and Tobacco Factory from Bristol. And we're working with the BFI. They've just cleaned up some old silent Hitchcock movies, and they've got some new orchestral scores to go with them. So we'll be screening the Pleasure Gardens and some other gigs and pop-up events like that, just leading us into the summer when we're going to close the main auditorium for its repair works. And then we will continue to run our mahogany bar and run like a sort of, I guess, a smaller theatre upstairs in some of the rooms we're just fixing now, and they'll be newly opened in the summer. And that will continue all the way until Christmas.
Wow, that's exciting. And how can people find out more about Wilton's?
I think the best way, it's going to sound like cliche, is go to the website, which is wiltons.org.uk, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter, join our mailing list. But for the real experience, you've just got to get out there and come down and visit us, really.
Yeah, that's true.
We such an amazing looking building.
And also, more importantly, how can people get involved with the fight to save Wilton's?
In many ways, you can text, you can donate, you can post it in. The best thing to do is pop by, have a drink in the bar, a little cocktail for charity, or come and see a show. But all forms of donation you can do via the website or online. So every little helps, it really does.
Do it. Definitely get a cocktail. But yeah, donate if you can as well. It's a fantastic, fantastic building.